Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wi-Fi Now TV in association with RCR Wireless News. My name is Claus Hetting. I'm the host of the show. On today's show, Wi-Fi network performance, it can range from awful to blazingly fast. Today, we're going to be talking to byJussi Kiviniemi, VP of Wi-Fi Design Tools. It's Finland-based Ekahau. He's going to tell us about how to get high-density Wi-Fi design right. Join us right after this message.
Telecom Careers, the #1 global telecom and wireless job board, telecomcareers.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Great to have you on board as usual for this episode 14 of the Wi-Fi Now TV series, and we're going to get to our guest in just a second. Before we do that, I just want to mention once again that Wi-Fi Now, the conference, is coming up just about 10 days from now. And of course, it's coming up in the great city of Amsterdam right here in Europe. And that's on November 17th to 19th. So we've got a fantastic program, of course, lots of carriers there. About 30-odd fantastic Wi-Fi companies are going to be showcasing their systems and obviously speaking at the conference and all that. So go to wifinowevents.com/Europe and check it out. If you're coming from the US, you can still make it. You're entitled to long distance discount and all of that on delegates fees. Drop me a mail at klaus@wifinowevents.com if you're interested in that. I really look forward to seeing a ton of you there, including a lot of the Americans watching right now, of course. All right, so let's get on to our guest of this week. I'd like to welcome byJussi Kiviniemi of Ekahau to the show. byJussi, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Klaus. Thank you for having me on and taking your time from your busy schedule. I'm sure you're pretty busy wrapping up the conference details, right?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of painstaking detailed work there, but it's great to have you on, and I thank you also for taking the time. Now, byJussi, for those of our viewers who are not familiar with Ekahau, just take us through your role and what Ekahau does in general, because I think we need to cover that first.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Glad you asked. So Ekahau is a two-sided company, if you will. The other side makes location tracking systems for indoor use, but the business line I represent and that I run is called Ekahau Wi-Fi Design Tools. So we make software and hardware tools for Wi-Fi engineers so that they can design and deploy good quality, high quality Wi-Fi networks more effectively, if you will. So that's our job, helping engineers design, deploy better Wi-Fi.
So generally speaking, when people talk about Wi-Fi, I guess we all know that Wi-Fi quality, performance, the user experience can range, anywhere from absolutely awful and non-existent to something that is truly blazingly fast. And each access point today can deliver up to several gigabits per second of capacity and all of that. Generally speaking, the problem is the range, right? Because we can be up in the high end. How do you think the industry could improve on this? And please, obviously improve the quality, and please share your experiences in that area.
Yes, certainly. It's I guess it's much about awareness and education when it comes to designing and deploying Wi-Fi networks. So awareness in a sense that people need to be aware that Wi-Fi isn't just plug and play. It's so much more than home Wi-Fi, and it's an unfair comparison in a sense that, you plug in your router at home and it usually works because it's just a single router at a fairly short distance. But you design and deploy an enterprise-wide network or a stadium network or one at the airport. It's a completely different story. It needs, some thought needs to be put into that. And then there's the whole education thing that I think is improving a lot in the industry because of players like, CWNP and Cisco, Ruckus, Aruba giving their own courses and stuff like that. But there's still a lot of people who design and deploy Wi-Fi without any formal or informal education.
So is that the most common thing? Is it that an IT person, for example, from an enterprise gets assigned the task of deploying the Wi-Fi network without any specialized knowledge, and it just kind of gets deployed according to whatever he thinks is right? Is that the most common thing?
It's fairly common, yeah. That's what we see a lot, and it's not the fault of the IT administrator. It's more like a time resource kind of a thing, that not enough time is allocated to designing wireless. Usually these are guys that come from fixed networks, and they, hey, can you also do Wi-Fi on the side while you're at it? And that leads to all kinds of challenges.
So, okay, exactly. So tell us who you think are actually designing the Wi-Fi networks today, and how are they going about this? Because the design process itself, I think, even in some cases, is completely lacking.
Yeah. There's so the thing is, everybody is designing Wi-Fi networks these days, right? That's one thing, and it's good because Wi-Fi is booming, and it's good for you and me and all of us. But there's really three major groups that come into this, and the first one is systems integrators, right, or professional consultancies. These guys who design and deploy wireless networks for a living for different companies. So let's say you have a company, and your core business is not Wi-Fi, so you want somebody else to take care of your Wi-Fi network, design it, maintain it. These systems integrators, like in the US, let's say Presidio, GDT, guys like that, they take over your Wi-Fi network, they design it, they maintain it, stuff like that, and then you pay them some money upfront to design the network, then some maintenance fee per month. And also, Wi-Fi vendors like Cisco, Aruba, Ruckus, they have their own consultancy arms that kind of help customers design and deploy this as well. So that's group number one, systems integrators. Group number two is really telecom operators who, and you work more with these guys than anyone, right? These guys design and deploy Wi-Fi to make some money out of it, whether it's a service paired with cellular or a standalone Wi-Fi service like the cloud, for example. I saw Sami Susiaho was in one of your shows, right? And he did a great job, and he's one of the leading Wi-Fi guys in Europe anyway, great guy. But yeah, that's group number two, telecom operators. Then the third one are network owners, right? So these IT administrators, IT managers who, for one reason or another, they get tasked to design and deploy wireless networks. They may do this either alone or together with, let's say, a systems integrator. So, it depends. And of course, all these segments vary in terms of knowledge and the tools they use and things like that.
Well, I can also tell you that, it's far from every telecom operator, by the way, that has a great deal of in-house Wi-Fi experience. There's a lot of them that don't, and actually have a great deal of trouble dealing with Wi-Fi cases because they're so mobile focused and so on. But tell me a little bit about how hard is it? I mean, I can honestly say I do a lot of theoretical Wi-Fi work, but I don't go out and do enterprise designs and installations and things. How hard is it to learn? Can you learn it as an IT person, for example, within a reasonable amount of time, or is it very super highly specialized?
There's in like anything, let's compare it to karate. There's different levels of knowledge here, but just like with karate, even if you have, let's say, a green or a brown belt, you're already pretty good. So the main thing is that you get the basics right, that you spend some time not just educating yourself in theory, but also going out to the field, doing some lab work, doing some tests, seeing how things work out in practice using these tools and stuff like that. So it's of course extremely hard to really master and become a sensei, but to get the basics right and design and deploy small medium business Wi-Fi the right way, even for high capacity, it's definitely not impossible. All you need is some training, the proper tools, whatnot.
Okay, very good. So we want to talk about high capacity because I also know that this is one possibly of the most difficult challenges out there as far as Wi-Fi is concerned, but it's also being used more and more in stadiums and in all sorts of high density spots, transport hubs, and so on and so forth. Just tell me how you define high density to start with, high density Wi-Fi.
To me, high density Wi-Fi is a network with a large number of client devices and a Wi-Fi network that wouldn't work unless you have to fine tune it to work for that high number of clients. So, your home Wi-Fi with 10 simultaneous connections by you and your brother-in-law, that's not considered high-density Wi-Fi. But when it kind of exceeds the capacity of a normal Wi-Fi network that's just thrown out there, that's when you start talking about higher density Wi-Fi. And then the extreme end of that is, let's say, the 49ers Stadium in Santa Clara, which I recommend everybody to visit, because that's kind of one of the showcases of ultra high density Wi-Fi done right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know how much you know about it, but now that you mentioned the 49ers Stadium, is that, how many special, shall we say, how much secret sauce did they have to pull out to get that right? Because obviously Aruba Networks, as I understand, is building it and is in the area and obviously poured a lot of resources into this. It's not a standard Wi-Fi thing, right? They've done something special here, or what?
It is standard Aruba gear using specialized antennas, and of course it's been fine-tuned to perfection, but it is standard Aruba Wi-Fi gear. Most of the secret sauce is actually in Chuck Lukaszewski's head, as well as the entire Aruba team's heads, led by Chuck. So it's not so much as specialized hardware, it's more just that the guys have put a lot of effort and their best minds into it, I would say. And having that said, there's so much information about this high density in general available, and also about the 49ers Stadium, like webinars, white papers, reference guides. It's all out there. If you just Google it, anyone can search it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's a famous case and well documented. So tell us a little bit about the key issues. If we're talking Wi-Fi in general, Wi-Fi design in general, and specifically in the high density area, what are you seeing out there?
The key issues is people fall to me to the coverage trap. So they're like, okay, I have enough coverage, I'm good to go. Or then if that fails, they're like, okay, let's just throw more access points at the problem, and there we go. And that, in many cases, actually throwing more access points at the problem makes the thing worse. So as you know, Wi-Fi is a shared medium, and the more APs you throw at the problem, the more management frames you will have, and all hell breaks loose. So that's kind of the problem summarized. So how do you overcome it? Is spectral reuse, good planning of channels, transmit powers, things like that. Most of that is pretty simple. You just need to have get a good grip of it, get a good visual of the situation, and go from there. Also, as for the best practices, let's say a few key things that you always should consider is, handling non-Wi-Fi interference, make sure there's no microwave ovens or video cameras interfering with the network, disable the low Wi-Fi data rates that are there for legacy devices, and then reduce the number of network names or SSIDs to avoid the network overhead. With these things in mind, you already go pretty far.
And is there any one specific thing you'd like to remind people of here on the show? The one thing that people tend to get wrong when they or need advice on when they get into planning Wi-Fi networks?
If there's one thing, go on Twitter. Actually, this might sound surprising, but the Wi-Fi professionals and the whole Wi-Fi professional community is on Twitter, and there's so much information being shared, all the links to the latest documents, all the good reference guides, everything, all the golden data about how to design and deploy Wi-Fi right, it's on Twitter. So go to Twitter if you want to learn more. Go to Twitter and learn. That's really what you need to do.
It's true, and it's actually very funny because I've been basically not a Twitter person until a few months ago, and I'm starting to tweet, and I'm realizing how much Wi-Fi activity there is on Twitter. It's amazing. So I think that's very good advice. So what do you think? I mean, I tend to evangelize a lot about Wi-Fi, and I like to tell people, about the blazingly fast speeds, and then people always come back to me and say, oh, but the Wi-Fi there doesn't work, the Wi-Fi there doesn't work, and this is junk and so forth. What do you think the industry can do in general to create awareness about this? Because obviously the tools are there, the knowledge is there. A lot of the time people just don't bother, I guess. Is there something that we can do?
Yeah, well, if people just don't bother, if they're lazy by nature, I don't think changing people's personalities, but maybe it's like upping the priority of Wi-Fi a little bit in the minds of the people who call the shots in different companies. So making Wi-Fi more of a priority and having people understand that Wi-Fi is becoming very much mission critical. And if it's not a mission critical, if you're not doing, a hospital with brain surgeries, it's also in a way mission critical for a hotel, because people will start changing hotels if their Wi-Fi experience is very poor. I don't know if you saw, like USA Today had a half-page article a month ago about, how important Wi-Fi is becoming to hotels, and they're getting, full new rollouts of Wi-Fi, independent auditors to audit their Wi-Fi networks, all that kind of stuff. And now was Booking.com or Expedia, one of the travel sites, has also started rating hotels based on the Wi-Fi network quality. So it's becoming more and more mission critical. This needs to be, understood by more and more people so that the Wi-Fi engineers get more and more time to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is becoming mission critical everywhere, also in retail and so on and so forth. We're beginning to see this. Now, you do get to talk a little bit about your tools, because I do want to ask you about that. So,
I hope you have 2 hours, man. Let me get comfortable here.
No, just a little bit. Just a little bit. No, so tell me.
You promised me a 2-hour sales pitch. You can't back up now.
Oh, no. You don't get too much. But just tell me, the Wi-Fi, obviously, that's your business to make sure that these Wi-Fi tools are out there and makes this, presumably makes the design process a lot easier. Just give us the 2-minute version of what this does for you as a Wi-Fi design person. How easy is it? How hard is it? What can you do with it?
Well, thank you for this. So what the tool is all about, it's about first of all, designing the network, and secondly, verifying that your design actually works and troubleshooting problems if there are any. So there's an offsite component that lets you load in the floor plans, and it automatically detects the walls from the floor plans, because different walls attenuate signals in different ways. And once that's done, in like a couple of minutes, it will then allow you to either drop Wi-Fi radios on the plan and predict the coverage for you, or it can automatically design the network, drop the radios and configure them for you based on your criteria, like, high capacity, 1,000 users here, I need voice grade SNR or signal strength, stuff like that. So that's the design component. And then for the verification, once you've done your design, you need to verify that it actually works. And this also goes for existing networks that you need to audit. So you take the tool, you take a laptop with you or a tablet, and you go on site, and it automatically draws you heat maps of how the network works in terms of signal strength, data rate, performance, packet loss, things like that. So 2 components, the offsite prediction, the on-site validation, and then there's a wealth of troubleshooting tools for those who, just need to resolve issues that are, hurting their Wi-Fi network. Let's say interference problems, for example. There's a microwave there that's hurting all of your 2.4 gigahertz.
All right, very good. And do you do outdoor as well, or is that not part of it?
Absolutely, both indoor and outdoor. Most of our usage is indoor, but also plenty of outdoor as well.
So presumably this has to work a ton better than the in-house tools of a number of the Wi-Fi vendors out there, because they've got, again, I've not studied this. I just know that there exist tools that allows you to do this for free, blah, blah, blah. So this is obviously something that you have to compete with, or what?
No, we just put a higher price tag on similar or crappier stuff and try to make a business.
And then they buy it.
Exactly.
Beautiful plan.
No, certainly. So there are tools from Cisco, Aruba, and Ruckus that get you kind of some kind of an estimate, or at least they draw some kind of a heat map usually for sales purposes. And then when it comes time to really understand exactly where to place the access points, how many to buy, how to orient the antennas, how will this work building wide, not just on a single floor, things like that. And you need to generate reports and whatnot. That's where our tool comes in. Also, often these vendor provided tools are only prediction heat map generation tools, again for sales purposes, but ours is very much an on-site validation and troubleshooting tool.
So how long does it, just trying to get a picture in my mind here. How long does it take, for example, to do a Wi-Fi plan using your design tool for 3 stories of, well, I don't know how to define this, 3 stories of a major office building, for example?
If you have CAD files with you from the building architect, which you often do, but sometimes you don't. If you have CAD files, it takes you probably 15 minutes so that your entire what we call building plan has been generated. But then placing the radios is also extremely quick, maybe 10 minutes, but then fine-tuning that design to meet your requirements. There's automatic tools for that, but if you really want to fine-tune it, that's what takes the longest amount of time. So I can't say any exact metrics, but you know, getting the groundwork done is really straightforward. The Wi-Fi engineering is what takes the most time, and that's what we feel, that Wi-Fi engineers' time is most valuable, fine-tuning the Wi-Fi networks using their expertise.
Do you think there's a shortage of Wi-Fi engineers right now? Because the industry is growing maybe 15-20% in terms of sales volume a year, and one would think that, you know, maybe perhaps there's a shortage. I don't know. I don't know so many personally. I mean, Wi-Fi engineers myself.
There is. I see plenty of shortage of you know, qualified Wi-Fi engineers, and you know, when you go on Twitter, these are the most qualified guys you can find, and that they are awesome. But that's just scratching the surface. I mean, there's to every professional on Twitter, there's like 50 guys who have never heard of CWNP organization or their training courses. And let me put it this way: anytime you run into a bad quality Wi-Fi network, there is a shortage of Wi-Fi engineers, right?
Yes, absolutely. But in terms of your tool, will it do, you know, the typical high density environment like a stadium? Presumably, obviously, you need the CAD drawings for the stadium and stuff like
that. To be honest, you want to do the 49er stadium and make it work. Our tool will not automatically do that for you. It will help you do that, but it will not automatically design it. It will not be able to automatically fine-tune it to perfection. You need Chuck and his team for that.
Because it's such an extreme case, right?
Yeah, and for many cases, you still need the Wi-Fi engineers to fine-tune the network, to configure it properly, to make sure, you know, the channel plan is appropriate, the data rates are appropriate, the SSID is the security and everything. So, so it's our goal to make as easy tools as possible. We simply can't replace the Wi-Fi engineer.
ByJussi, I'm going to ask you my trademark question. This is going to be the last question. If you could have anything you want, and don't say banana, if you could have anything you want in the business world, in the Wi-Fi world, what would that be?
Oh, that's a tough one, man.
I know, it's a very hard question. That's why I love asking this question.
Yeah, and it has to be in the Wi-Fi world, so Porsche 911 won't cut it, right?
No.
I'm going to sound like a broken record, but more education.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm with you. I think more evangelizing, yeah? That's what I like to do as well. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's fantastic to have you on the show. Thank you for sharing your insights, and come back and visit us again. We'll be delighted to have you. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Klaus. And you come back to, you come also to our webinar, okay?
Okay, I will do that. Yeah,
awesome.
I will do that. I need to educate myself as well.
All right. You'll be the host.
Oh, okay. I'll be the host. It's fun. It's good.
All right, cool. Thanks a lot, Klaus. I appreciate that. Cheers.
All right, everybody, that's basically it for today's show. Thank you to ByJussi from Ekahau for all of that. And what's left for me to tell you is what we're going to be doing next week. And next week, I'm delighted that I'll be interviewing Edgar Figueroa, the CEO of Wi-Fi Alliance. We interviewed him about a lot of things, including, of course, the ongoing Wi-Fi versus LTE battle, and also ask him about Wi-Fi Aware, some of the new standardization work and going on with Wi-Fi Alliance. So lots of good stuff coming up there. Also, Lonnie Schilling, CEO of Intelligent Connectivity Manager company Birdstep in Sweden, will be with us to discuss how to include Wi-Fi as a part of a carrier HETNet strategy. So 2 great guests next week. So that's it for today. Thank you to my guest, ByJussi, and I'll see all of you next week, same place, same time. Have a good one, folks.
Wi-Fi Now is a production of RCR TV News. To suggest a show topic or to learn more about Wi-Fi Now events, you can reach Claus Hetting at klaus@hettingconsulting.com. To find out more about Wi-Fi Now and all things wireless, visit rcrwireless.com.